All right, were works more important in the Old Testament than the New Testament?
Were the works more important than the Old and the New?
Yeah.
No.
I asked you about faith last time.
Yeah.
And this is the Old Testament, New Testament works
Yeah.
question.
And it's the same thing as I brought up earlier with Romans 4.
Okay.
And it's the very fact that, yes, they were doing works, but that's not what was justifying them. That was, that was not putting them in right standing before God. And so the belief, their faith was, not their works. And so now, were they following, now to be clear as well, was there a law to follow? Yes, of course. Okay. So I'm not denying that, but it was not like the law was justifying that person. Faith was always involved,
Oh.
And so faith has always been the thing of, I believe in God, right? And that my works come from that faith. And so that's all that has always been, Old Testament or New. That's the case.
Okay.
Yeah.
So basically, I couldn't just follow the law without believing in one true God.
Correct.
Okay.
Because if you followed the law, like you hit every point of the law, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's no faith involved, right?
Okay.
Then because there's no faith involved, again, that you're not pleasing to God. That's the whole thing of Hebrews 11, right?
Okay.
Of the idea that there's no one who pleases God without faith. And it's in the context of, you're talking about Enoch here, right?
Okay.
And so this is Old Testament,
Okay.
and then it goes on to talk about Noah and then Abraham and so they're always living by faith.
But isn't it different because like in the Old Testament, God told them exactly what to do.
Sure.
So, but in the New Testament, we have no idea. It's just love people.
Yeah, no, okay. Well, but there is,
what I mean?
Yeah, but there is an idea. It's not like we don't know what what's sin or what's not sin.
Right, but they had specific stuff that they were being told they had to do.
Yeah, and those things, okay, so, but I think one of the things that people can get confused with is okay, well, therefore we're just not going to do anything about the law, right? In other words, somehow the law is,
but I mean, even God's telling Moses to raise his staff and then he did it.
Right.
That was a work of faith.
Yeah.
Right?
Sure.
Okay, so but we never get told anything that specific anymore.
Oh, no, yeah, we do.
From what?
From the Lord.
From how?
From the Holy Spirit speaking to us.
No.
Yeah. Okay, what I'm saying is no, there's moments where it's the Holy Spirit will hey, Joseph, you need to go do this.
Okay.
Or Joseph, stop.
Does this happen to everybody else, or are you just crazy?
No, this is the Holy Spirit leading us, guiding us.
Okay.
And so because the Holy Spirit is in us, I think this is where I'm kind of getting to. It's man, yeah, you're right. There was the external law that the Israelites followed, okay? And in that external law, it was very clear. Do this and be blessed. Don't do this and you'll be cursed, right? That's the whole premise of Deuteronomy.
And I'm talking about the other stuff because that stuff you is more forced. The law was more forced.
Yeah, okay, but you're talking about the other little individual things.
Yeah.
Hey, Israelites, go walk around Jericho 7 times. And
even in the New Testament, Jesus would be tell his disciples to go somewhere, and then they would go somewhere.
Yeah.
Go here and wait. And then someone's going to give you a donkey, and then you're going to cook the donkey, and then
right.
You're
No,
feed
but that happens. But that happens in the New Testament as well.
Right. So I'm saying
outside of Jesus.
Uh-huh.
Outside of in other words, it's not just Jesus telling people to do things. The Holy Spirit begins to lead people. That's the whole book of Acts. The whole book of Acts is the Holy Spirit leading people, telling people, directing people where to go.
Okay.
Right? So I mean. And that can be, hold on one second. I'm gonna in Acts chapter. Let's go to chapter. I can pull up 100 passages. I feel like, But in Acts 8,
Here we go.
I know. but in Acts 8, Philip has been to Samaria, okay, and he's ministering there. And then, in verse 26, an angel of the Lord spoke to Philip, "Get up and go south to the road that goes down from Jerusalem to Gaza." So he gets up and he goes there. And then verse 29, the Spirit tells Philip, "Go and join the chariot." So Philip runs and goes to the chariot.
Oh.
And this is like happens over and over and over and over again in Acts. It's like, Peter.
And this is after Jesus is gone.
Jesus is gone. And so
Okay.
the Spirit is leading. Like Acts chapter 9 and 10, the story of, or 10 and 11, the story of Cornelius. This is, the Spirit of the Lord telling, well, here, I'll just walk through a couple. So we're in Acts 8. That's Philip, and Philip's being led by the Spirit and all that stuff. And then in chapter 9, Saul has an encounter with the Lord, right, on the road to Damascus, or Paul has an encounter with the Lord, road to Damascus. He's blinded, taken to a home. And then in verse 10 of chapter 9, it says, "There was a disciple in Damascus named Ananias. And the Lord said to him in a vision, 'Ananias.' And he says, 'Here I am, Lord. Get up and go to the street called Straight, to the house of Judas, and ask for a man from Tarsus named Saul, since he is praying there.'" And so this is like specific.
That's kind of specific.
That's kind of specific. And so you see this again. That's Acts 9. In Acts 10.
So the Holy Spirit tells you really specific stuff.
The Holy Spirit can absolutely tell you really specific stuff.
Okay.
Yes. And so we see this in, Cornelius in the vision. We see this with Paul and the whole, the Macedonia, call and all that kind of stuff. Like the Holy Spirit just leading. And this all started actually with Jesus in Luke chapter 4. It says that the Holy Spirit led Jesus to the wilderness. The Holy Spirit led Jesus out of the wilderness and back to Galilee in the power of the Spirit. The Holy Spirit was the one guiding Jesus all the way through the end, and the Holy Spirit is the one who's guiding us now. It's why Jesus in John chapter 14 says that I am sending you another Parakletos. In other words, I'm sending you so that you've had me, disciples, you've had me, but now you're going to have the Holy Spirit, and the Holy Spirit is going to be the one leading and directing you.
Okay.
And that's still happening today is what I'm getting to. We see it throughout the book of Acts, and it's still happening today where the Holy Spirit can lead us and guide us to go do something.
Okay.
It can be go do something for someone, with someone, whatever it may be. But no, the Holy Spirit absolutely is leading us to do things.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just like in the Old Testament when God said, "Put your stick in the water and turn it to blood."
Yeah.
Okay.
Just like
it's
that.
the same thing.
Just like that.
Okay.
Yeah. I mean, like, that may sound kind of crazy, but like, and this, like, one example I was in college, and I remember I'm in class, and the Holy Spirit goes, get out of class, and go to this location, and I was like,
and then Columbine happened.
no, and then I was like, Lord, I was like, no way, I was like, but I'm in class, Lord, like this doesn't seem to make sense,
okay.
Right? Like, Lord, I'm in class. Why would I go here? Leave class to go here? Like, I'm in school. I'm in college. I'm supposed to be here. And it was just like so heavy on me. And I literally got up, went to this location, and I didn't even know why I was there. I had no idea why I was going to this location, but I knew the Lord was telling me go here. I did. And then an individual that I had met like 2 days earlier ended up coming to this exact same location at this exact time I was there, that if I had still been in class, I'd have missed him completely. And one thing kind of led to the other. But anyway, I ended up leading this guy to Christ and discipling him for years. And now he's still following Jesus and all that kind of stuff. Like, it's all I'm saying is the Holy Spirit leads and directs and guides. And it can be things like that, or it could be like my wife, when she goes, if she's at the grocery store, she's real sensitive to like, the Holy Spirit, are you wanting me to help someone here today? Do I help pay for someone's groceries? Do I, what Holy Spirit, how would you lead me to serve here today? Is there a young mom I need to encourage or whatever? And so I just think if we have an expectation or an openness to how the Holy Spirit can actually lead us, guide us to, to minister to people, to love people, to encourage people. If we're open to that, if we're expecting it, I think it'll happen a lot more than we might imagine.